Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Mardi from NorthTelecom. Mardi, thank you for joining us. It's the first time we've spoken to you on SatTV. Tell me a little bit about NorthTelecom.
Thank you very much for having me here, first of all. NorthTelecom, actually, we are a satellite service provider. And we are somewhere in the verticals between suppliers and consumer market and customer market. We are delivering any type of the connectivity over satellite, like into the different verticals, like oil and gas, like maritime business, like end-to-end connectivity for fixed and basic land business. In a very short brief, we are providing satellite connectivity around the globe. This is what NorthTelecom is doing, actually.
Now, you're saying you're a service provider.
Right.
What problems are there in the supply chain at the moment?
Actually, right now, we are witnessing a lot of new technology coming to the space industry in general, and commercial satellite industry in particular, which we are working because we are very much concentrated on the commercial satellites. One of the main challenge probably next future is we have got a lot of new entrant, a lot of company who are interesting on the satellite connectivity to serve to emerging markets, and we are witnessing a lot of new entrant bringing the capacity into the market. And this is, initially it was good because you are witnessing a lot of new technology, a lot of investments on supplier side. But the main problem and the main challenge probably now and in next future would be how we want to utilize this capacity, or how we want to change these potentials, how we want to actually to turn these potentials capacity, the raw materials, into the reality, into the basically products, because the satellite capacity itself is just look like a raw materials. Somebody need to use these materials to do the end-to-end connectivity, like IP connectivity over for aero type of communications, like for instance for mining, for oil and gas solutions. I believe there is no proper balance between supply and demand. I mean, somehow we didn't all, I'm talking about the industry, invest that much on the demand creations, on, let's say, having some initiatives probably to bring the new applications, to introduce the new applications for satellite communications. And we are very much relying on legacy models, like oil and gas sectors, I mean, and anything happen in 1-2 verticals, then we will collapse automatically, But potential is there from my standpoint. From my standpoint of view, from now on, we really need to invest on supply chain. And the other part of the supply chain, which is demand creation, which is helping the people on the ground, which is educating the proper technicians, to understand the satellite connectivity, to help us actually to implement the satellite connectivity on the ground. This is what we are really facing as a challenge right now in the market.
But you mentioned it, education. One of the things that we've been saying for the last few years, satellite is never seen as mainstream. My children don't understand satellite. Exactly. So if we can't educate the audience about what satellite can do for them, so how do we overcome that?
We have a very nice tools right now, which is internet. Like you guys, you are trying to, it's like you cannot go every and each corner of the world and having the workshop, doing the educations. I believe we have to use the tools. Today we are keep talking about IoT, for instance, Internet of the Things. For education, I believe we really need to have, first of all, we are talking about a different type of education, at least from my standpoint of view. The academic education, which need to be coordinated and need to be arranged with perhaps university, because satellite is a tricky market. You know, you have to have a knowledge about RF, and you have to have a knowledge about the networking as well. Eventually, you have to use the satellite as a media to deliver the service to the clients. You know, I mean, it's not all about RF. I'm just talking about basically the service providers concept, because we really need to provide the services. We are not operators, you know, probably operators just concerning about the RF parts or satellite technology itself, but we are much basically concentrating on delivering the service into the market. That's why we have to have all the expertise, you know. In terms of educations, I believe there are some firms, there are some basically groups, some firms, they are trying to have some sort of schemes, you know, for the education, stuff like that. But as you well said, unfortunately, the new generation, you know, they are not that much familiar with the satellite concepts, you know, and it really needs some basically probably global movement somehow, you know, to actually first of all translate the satellite concept to something understandable for everybody, you know, not something complicated. Because when you are talking about, okay, people asking, what are you doing? Satellite, wow, what is this? It's very complicated, very sophisticated, you know. No, it's not sophisticated, it's easy, you know, it's like, it's a media, that's all. It's just something you cannot touch it, is really, is like intangible stuff, you know, that's why you are thinking that it's like giants. Okay, it's a sophisticated technology, but our job is to make it easy for the people, you know. We don't need to make it sophisticated, because we want to use a satellite to deliver the service to the people. And that's why we really need to make it easy, make it understandable for the people, and make it like, I was reading an article about a year back, you know, in Financial Times. It was very nice about how we can monetize the satellite technology, you know, how we can basically bring the satellite from that much sophisticated concept into the commercial market. You know, it was very interesting, and I think educations, you know, is a key, is at least one of the key. You know, you have to have soldiers for yourself, you know, like who are advocating your technology, your basically solutions.
As a service provider, you're under intense competition from multiple other service providers. How does NorthTelecom keep ahead of that competition?
To be very honest with you, we are, okay, competition is everywhere, you know. I mean, I don't want to say we are not believing competitions, but we really truly believe in collaborations, especially in the niche market, because we consider satellite, commercial satellite segments is a very niche market, you know. We always trying to find the gaps in the market. Where are the gaps? Where are not actually that much filled by the other providers, but others, basically players, you know. We really not kind of the company that much thinking about the post-productions, like bringing the service into the market and then trying to sell our service or sell our idea, you know, into the market. We're really concentrating on what are the customer demands. It's very important, you know. We used to talk with a lot of peoples, a lot of verticals, you know, like oil and gas sectors, which traditionally they are using satellite connectivity, or many others verticals which really they are not using satellite right now, but they are willing to use satellite, you know. But somehow, you know, back to our previous subject, they think about satellite as a very sophisticated technology, and that's why they don't want to get into the satellite connectivity. What we are trying to do, we are trying to understand their needs. We are trying actually to transform their requirement somehow to the satellite, into the satellite technology, and make the satellite technology understandable for them. And because there are two concerns. when we are talking about satellite technology. First, the technology itself. People always thinking that it's very sophisticated. It is very sophisticated, but they don't need to deal with this kind of basically complicated stuff, first of all. And the second one is cost. Because they used to hear, our satellite is expensive, you have to put a lot of money for satellite connectivity and stuff like that. But compared to others, compared to fiber optic connectivity, compared to terrestrial networks, compared to the wireless communications, compared to the microwave communications. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to understand, okay, what is their demand, and how we can transform and translate that one into the satellite connectivity, because you don't need just to copy and paste. The way you are implementing a networks in terrestrial networks is much different than the way you're gonna implement the same networks over satellite. You should not copy and paste. If you copy and paste the same concept, which a lot of people they are doing in the markets, because they're just receiving the RFP or whatever from the clients and just trying to address that one, then you will end up to the huge cost, because this is cheap. The guy is saying that, okay, I want 10 megabit, I will ask for 20 megabit, for instance, right? But in satellite, you cannot do that. You really need to think about the capex as well as the operation cost of the clients. And you really need to concentrate on the end, understanding that what is the demand of the client and trying to deliver the demand. Yeah. Okay, maybe you come up with the nice and innovative options, customer is happy, you shrink the cost, that's all. He's happy. Yeah.
And finally, we're sitting in Singapore. What are you trying to achieve from the Asia Pacific region?
Actually, we are coming to Communic Asia since 2009, mainly as a visitors. We have some sort of communication with Asian suppliers, with some Asian basically company like service providers or system integrators, And as I said, we are observing and we are witnessing the same gap into the markets. There are a lot of people active on field trying to use the satellite technology. There are a lot of suppliers, they're really trying to support, but we are basically observing some gap between suppliers and system integrators or customers or consumers, how to use the satellite technology, how to implement the satellite technology, and how to match and fit the customer demand and customer requirement and use the satellite technology for them. And the main problem is the cost, One of our expertise, to be very honest, is we're really always concerning about the clients, We really first, before getting into the satellite connectivity, before selling the idea, selling the service or selling the products, we really try to understand what are the constraints of the clients, what are the constraints of our partner on the ground, and we're really trying to do our best to address as much as possible. We're really trying to find the common ground between customer demand and suppliers basically expectation, and then make them match as much as possible. We are here to do the same concept. We are here to serve into the market. We are here to serve basically to help the industry. We are here to collaborate with the others. We are not here just, okay, we have this service, we want to sell this service. Not at all. It's not in our strategy. We are very much concentrating on the project-based stuff, concept, like we call ourselves solution providers somehow, Okay, we are satellite service providers, but when we are talking service, our service is our expertise, our solutions, how we can understand, we can act as a middle guy, as a middleman, coming up with the solutions, matching the clients and the customer need as well as the supplier needs. This is we truly believe is a big gap right now. And that's why there are a lot of potential project and potential basically customers which willing to have and which willing to use the satellite as a means, as a tools for the communications, but for any reasons, they just, okay, leave it, forget it, you know, we don't want to do that. That's the main problem. And we are trying our best to fulfill this gap.
Well, I look forward to seeing the progress of the company over the next 12 months. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here. Have a good day.